The Santalune Forest in Kalos is clearly a knockoff of the Verdian Forest. Not only are all of the original Verdian Forest mons catchable here, they even have a similar layout. But there's also 5 other Pokemon you can catch, a few of which you might recall from our last forest video. So, let's make a team from the Pokemon you can get there, and try to beat Pokémon X using only them. Before we begin, which of these Pokemon is your favorite? Our journey starts with a rude awakening. That's not very kind of you, Fletchling, but I can't stay mad at him for long. I make some new friends literally by walking out the door. That was easy, and even get a cool nickname as an initiation ceremony into this tribe of feral children. What? They're walking across an entire region without their parents. What else would you call them? None of the Pokemon they offer me are encounterable in the Santalune Forest, but this green one looks most at home among the trees. To show my displeasure at Nintendo for their Legend ZA Direct debacle last month, I name him Ranked Mega. What a stupid decision. Not a fan of that at all. Ranked Mega easily defeats the other upside down Ranked Mega, and that's all we need him for. I could catch a bug or bird on Route 2, but I'm so close to the forest, I'd rather get the superior forest mons. The only problem is, as I enter this sanctuary, the feral children cannot take a hint. They have no social skills and all rush headlong into the Santalune Forest, with no regard to the Pokemon I'm trying to catch. Maybe I don't want to be accepted by these weirdos. In spite of their best efforts, I encounter a Fletchling, my real starter for this run, and an appropriate one at that. I might as well catch all of the rest of the mons here too, like the Water Monkey, Weird Little Bug, Original Bug, Grass Monkey, another Original Bug, Overused Electric Rat, and Fire Monkey. Now, if you've been keeping count, that's clearly more than 6 Pokemon, so I need to figure out which ones to keep. Let's start with the 2 Kalos mons because it's their region. After that, I choose the Elemental Monkeys and Pikachu to have the best type coverage. If Mega Beedrill was a thing in Pokémon X, I would totally pick her. As it is, the 2 Kanto bugs need to stay in the box. I don't plan on ever using them. But you know what I do use? A pair of everyday earbuds by Raycon, the sponsor of this message. And let me tell you, these earbuds are amazing. They've got active noise cancellation and a comfortable ergonomic design to stay put even when you're most active. I wear mine while at the gym or going for a run. That's right, I work out. The best part about these earbuds is you get the same premium audio quality as other brands, but at half the price. Not to mention their 32-hour battery life with a fully charged case and their quick charge function. Just 10 minutes in the case gives you 90 minutes of playtime. As someone who listens to podcasts all the time, battery and charge times are such important features. So, if you want a pair just like mine, maybe with a different color, that would be okay too, click the link in the description, or go to buyraycon.com/nuzlockejoe to get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. With my team of 6 picked out, let's head to Santalune City to challenge Viola, as she takes a picture of me in this one-party consent state. I have grounds to sue now, so she'd better let me win. This shouldn't be a difficult fight, as I have an underleveled bird. Since Fire Pidge is not yet a fire type, Surskit uses Quick Attack instead of Bubble, easily falling to a few pecks. Fire Pidge does some damage to Vivian, growling to lower her attack, and is infested. Most of my team is severely underleveled, as you can see, but Mad Monk is just high enough to know Incinerate. He withstands Tackle, no problem, incinerating that bug as many times as needed, while Viola tries to keep it alive with heals. It does not work, and I win the first badge, no problem. With that badge also comes the Experience Share, an incredibly useful item for a team of 6. It actually helps keep me decently leveled this entire run. And it lets Butterfree, the Scatterbug, evolve. In Lumio City, one of the first things Professor Frenchie says to me after a battle challenge is how ridiculously weak he is. Is this some sort of reverse psychology trash talk he's trying? If so, it does not work. Fire Pidge pecks Bulbasaur to the grave, returns on Squirtle, and Charmander too. You're right, Sycamore. You do really suck. He tries to bribe me into not spilling the beans on his Pokemon battling skills, or lack thereof, giving up one of his defeated Pokemon. Obviously I pick Charmander, because he's the best, but I won't get a chance to use it. Around this time, Butterfree evolves for the second time, a few levels higher than the real Butterfree. But this compound eyes flying bug is basically a knockoff of the OG bug, with better speed, which is nice. A short time later, Tierno also wants to battle with his Corphish. The fish swords dances, but never does anything with that boosted attack, thanks to Happy Monk's Vine Whips. And I get some honey as a reward for winning. That's a weird prize, but okay. Soon after, Firepidge evolves, actually becoming a fire type, and losing the stab return, which is unfortunate. I find this rich dude's Furfrou, and his immediate reaction is to set off some fireworks. I guess rich people just have a fireworks closet or something? I don't know, I'm still poor. So, subscribe to the channel to help me get some fireworks money, or something like that. Maybe this amulet coin will help me get there. One impromptu 4th of July later, this rich dude continues to be the worst, ordering around the help as if he's constantly at his beck and call. Man, that'd be awesome to have a butler. So become a YouTube or Patreon member to help me get one. I'd probably pay a living wage. A short time later, I enter the Battle Chateau, where I am immediately granted the rank of Baron, just by walking in the door. Well, that was real easy. What's more, I can get a better title by fighting other trainers with titles, which seems unrealistic, until you realize that people in Europe were fighting each other over lands and titles for hundreds of years. So, yeah, it's accurate. Anyway, that's enough talking, let's get to more fighting. Grant has 2 rock Pokemon, meaning it's time for Sad Monkey's debut in this video. He immediately burns Amora with Scald, getting himself paralyzed at the same time. That's alright, the burn damage makes Scald a 2-hit KO. Sad Monkey barely survives a Tyrant bite, heals with a berry, and is fully paralyzed. And here I thought he was going to do something awesome instead of just dying. Happy Monk takes over to Leech Seed, getting Rock Tombed, slowing him down, and ya bit. Pikachu nuzzles to paralyze, survives the first rock attack to hit a resisted Electro Ball. It didn't work out too well though. This brings me down to half my team, 2 of which are fire types. No matter, I was ready for this. Butterfree protects for Leech Seed to do its thing, and when I'm confident she can win, Struggle Bugs the Little Rex. Talk about a much tougher gym than the first one. I defeat some flare guys and try to follow them, but he somehow disappears into thin air. I'm sure this suspicious rock formation has nothing to do with it. No need to investigate any farther. This brings me to a gym leader battle, but not an official one, so even if I win, I get no badge. That just seems like busy work now. It's not too hard, between my 2 fire mons, but still, it's the principle of the thing. Beat a gym leader, get a badge. It's like Pokemon 101. I follow her to the Tower of Mastery, where this old man is surprised I arrive here alone. Course, man, I don't need nobody else. Cue the feral children. The first 2 come right into the room uninvited. They have no manners at all, while the other 2 remain outside on the lookout for predators. When we've all gathered together, Guru gives us a lesson on Mega Evolution, blah blah blah, but he only has 1 Mega Ring. Then why wait for all these other kids to get here? You could have just given it to me since I was first. Either way, it means that Serena and I have a battle to determine ownership of the 1 ring. I begin with Morkanto the Pikachu, as he attempts to defeat Meowstic. A Nuzzle Electro Ball combo fails to do it, and he's quickly knocked out. No matter, Butterfree Struggle Bugs Meowstic a couple of times. Absol also falls to a double struggle. For Breaksin, Butterfree Compound Eyes Stun Spores, letting Sad Monkey come on out. 2 Scalds defeat the middle evolution, and Serena as well. I do feel somewhat bad taking the Mega Ring away from her. I can't use it after all, Mega Raichu isn't yet a thing. But she can't use it either, so it's fair. What's not fair is the second battle I'm forced to have against Korrina. I thought we already did this. Since she has no Lucarios this time, Sad Monkey leads the charge with a double-powered acrobatics. Mean Fu takes the hit, heals, succumbing to a Scald acrobatics combo. He avoids the first flying press from Hawlucha, but not quite the second. That's okay. I had hoped Happy Monk could also avoid a press, but not quite. There goes my Leech Seed plan. Instead, Butterfree again Stun Spores, using Psybeam to deal some decent damage, or Draining Kiss to heal up a bit. Hawlucha does heal, stalling a bit longer, but it's okay. Machoke, unfortunately, has a Rock Tomb, immediately defeating the bug. I'm again down to half my team. Firepidge, the flying type, hasn't been used yet, and with a single peck, he defeats this gym leader again, and I actually get the badge this time. We still haven't seen the end of Korrina though. At the top of the Tower of Mastery, she lends me a Lucario to battle against hers. Not sure why she didn't Mega Evolve in that last gym battle, but okay. My Lucario is obviously superior, but not enough for me to actually want him. You don't come from the forest. Why would I want you? You should stay with this trainer who tried so hard to get rid of you. I can't catch a break though, because in front of the next gym, Serena wants a rematch. I don't have any Mega Evolutions to show you, so just give it up. Thanks to an unfortunate light screen, Meowstic stays alive a decently long time, eventually getting crit struggle bugged. The screen wears off just in time for Butterfree to hang on after Absol's quick attack, struggle bugging him as well. Breaks-in is too much for the bug to handle. Sad Monk has now learned Surf, drowning the fire type in 2 hits. Easy enough. Though he didn't do anything in that battle, thanks to experience share, Firepidge evolves to his final form. I debated giving Mad Monk an Eviolite for the Ramos gym battle, but evolving him now seemed like the best option. I start with him to Flame Burst Jumpluff. Ramos heals that thing twice in a row, wasting his healing items till it's finally knocked out after an acrobatics. Expecting a Bulldoze, I pivot into Butterfree to fly above it. She has learned Bug Buzz, which is a 2-hit KO against Gogoat. Weeping Bell then succumbs to a double Psybeam, no problem. Look at that. I didn't even need the newly evolved Firepidge for that gym. At this point, I find out that Team Flare has broken into a power plant to steal power. Or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Either way, I, and I alone, stopped them, with no help whatsoever from any wannabe superheroes. In preparation for Clement, Kanto the Pikachu gets a Thunderstone to evolve. I begin the battle with Firepidge, who is certainly weak to Electric, but also outspeeds Emolga to return. The Squirrel Volt switches into Magneton, as expected. Firepidge tries a Roost, but takes about the same amount of damage that he healed, making it pointless. Okay, it's time to sacrifice Sad Monk to a Thunderbolt, sorry bud, so Mad Monk can Flame Burst. The only problem is, Magneton has Sturdy, and Clement keeps on healing, even setting up an electric terrain. Eventually he runs out of heals, and it falls. Heliolisk Thunderbolts him to the grave, and in his place I use Happy Monk, who has not yet evolved. So he has the Eviolite to boost his defenses. This means he obviously is going to Leech Seed. He also Seed Bombs and tries to dig, but gets paralyzed by the bolt. The Leech Seed still does its thing well enough, knocking it out. Emolga finishes him off, as Firepidge does the same thing to the squirrel who's left over. And a static at the very end? Pointless. Following that battle, I end up in Lysander's cafe, for some reason, to get lectured by Professor Frenchie on how great a person Lysander is. Who, over the course of the next minute, says there are people who give and those who take, and the takers are filth. He then goes on to justify the use of a terrible global weapon. Sycamore is not a good judge of character. Lysander isn't even hiding it, he outright says it. Sure, just excuse that messed up rhetoric as passion. Nothing could go wrong with that. Trevor gives me a heads up that I'm about to be jumped on Route 4, letting me evolve Sad Monk first. Happy Monk will wait just a little bit longer. Sure enough, here is Serena. Butterfree starts with Protect, blocking a Fake Out, one-shotting Meowstic with Bug Buzz. I clearly swap out for the newly evolved Sad Monk to face off against the fire Delphox. Even with leftovers, he proves to be too weak and slow to beat the Fox. I guess it's up to Firepidge to return. Absol tries to start a Swords Dance, getting no benefit from it whatsoever. That's what you get for attacking an unsuspecting kid, Serena. The rest of the feral kids show up again and decide to head to a haunted house, a popular destination for kids whose parents don't care about them. Their whole lives are filled with terror, as will Valerie's, once I put her fairies into the ground. The Fairy Steel Mawile cannot stand up to Mad Monk, who has an expert belt. His flame bursts Mrs. Mime too, but she sets up a light screen. Lame. He does some digging, more bursts, until the light screen ends along with Mrs. Mime's life. Sylveon prevents him from going any farther. Firepidge tries to return, but without stab and getting lowered attack, this is not going to work. In his place, the still unevolved Happy Monk does what he does best, Leech Seed. It's such an incredible move for runs like this. He really tries hard to defeat the Evolution, and with an Eviolite he's doing pretty good, but his attacks are just too weak, and I don't want to waste any more time. In his place, out comes Firepidge. With leftovers and Leech Seed, he's not about to be defeated. While on tour of this Pokeball factory, Team Flare breaks in to steal some Pokeballs? These things cost like 200 Pokedollars. They're not expensive in the slightest. Oh well. I, and I alone, stopped them, with Serena just hanging around here too. Even though this event literally just happened, the news somehow claims it will have no effect on Pokeballs nationwide. That sounds a bit like a cover-up. Don't trust the mainstream news, not even in Pokemon. I take a slight break from Team Flare to evolve Happy Monk now that he's learned how to crunch. Then, it's right back to thwarting Team Flare. By the way, why did Abomasnow have an Abomasite? Did he just find it somewhere and was carrying it around? Or did he somehow make it? Much like how Serena carries around shame for constantly losing to me. You'd think that would help her do better, but not really. As always, I start with Butterfree against Meowstic. But this time, she has learned Quiver Dance, one of my all-time favorite setup moves. Meowstic clearly stands no chance now. Delphox is powdered, a unique move in Gen 6 that prevents the use of a single fire move, and it blows up in their face. Nice. Bug Buzz still misses out on the KO, but thankfully Serena doesn't flamethrower again as Butterfree defeats the Fire Fox. Now Jolteon could use electric moves to knock her out, opting instead to use a quad-resisted double kick. That was a stupid move. The Evolution and Absol are both defeated without issues. For the Olympia battle, I lead with more Kanto, the Raichu. He hasn't done a ton in the run so far, but we're about to change that. Sigilyph has a single turn and uses Reflect. Bad choice. Not that I'm complaining, mind you. Because she's so stupidly slow, and I get a crit, Slowking is one-shot Electro Balled. Her last Pokemon, Meowstic, is nuzzled, getting paralyzed, and dramatically lowering her speed. That way Electro Ball does way more damage because it compares relative speed, and paralysis is included. That being said, the little cat survives pretty well as she spams Calm Mind. Another crit ends that farce of a battle. Good going there, Kanto. In what should be a surprise to literally no one, Lysander shows off his true colors to the world, threatening to massacre everyone who isn't a member of Team Flare. Now, I thought about signing up just to stay alive, but I'd rather be dead than wear that outfit. And do they all have to dye their hair red, or is it a coincidence? There are several Lysander battles here, but in the interest of time, and because he sucks, I'm just skipping ahead to the final one. You know, the one that takes place behind this rock formation that I should have explored several gyms ago. Could have prevented this whole tragedy if I was somewhat smart. I do catch this tree-like deer first, who seems at home in a forest setting, but I'm doing fine without any legendaries, so who needs it? Doc Ock Lysander begins with a quick Mean Shao, but my itemless Fire Pidge is even faster with acrobatics. Pyroar is also acroed. Honchkrow is the first one to survive a hit, Night Slashing in response, and not getting healed. That was unexpected. In part because of the pre-Mega Gyarados Intimidate, acrobatics now kind of sucks, and Fire Pidge is straight up aqua-tailed. Just as a backup, Happy Monk Leech Seeds, because of course he does, but he also survives an Outrage, allowing him to Seed Bomb a single time, defeating Lysander once and for all. I don't know why he gives up now and not the first 2 times, but it's whatevs. After the giant space laser scene, only one of these houses remains standing. And the guy just doesn't seem to care about what happened here? It is most decidedly not a beautiful day in his neighborhood. Frenchie makes another appearance with his level 50 Pokemon that don't stand a chance against me. They might have helped against Lysander though, so thanks for that help, man. As feral kids are wont to do, I am ganged up for no real reason. Shauna is easily defeated, and yes, I also make that face when I'm excited. Tierno doesn't do much better, and you look pretty down to me, man. At least Trevor has moved past his feral ways, healing me before also trying to beat me up. Hey, it's a little improvement at least. He too is knocked out, as is anybody who tries to stand in my way. Now that I've proven myself to be the alpha here, they'd better stop picking fights. There isn't much to say about the final gym battle. With an expert belt holding up Mad Monk's non-existent pants, his first 2 Pokemon are flamethrowered without any issues. Cryogonal outspeeds to Confuse Ray, surviving a little bit longer, but not even it can withstand the flames from my pantsless monkey. That was a bit of an anticlimactic end to our gym leader journey, but we still have a bit more of the run to go, including the fanciest door to stair transformation I've ever seen. And trust me, I've seen my fair share of stairs. On the other end of Victory Road is Serena, who has one final chance to defeat me. We start the same way as our battles have, with my bug making short work of her psychic cat, using a single quiver dance first. I could use a second, but it shouldn't be necessary. Since Bug Buzz was too weak to defeat Delphox after a powder last time, now I have Hurricane, which is still too weak. I should have just danced more, I suppose. Sad Monk defeats the Fox, running away to Happy Monk to resist Jolteon, who actually uses an electric move this time. 2 Seed Bombs is all it takes. Now Altaria quad resists Grass, and I expected her to defeat Happy Monk pretty easily. But for whatever reason, she allows me to Leech Seed and crunch several times until she too is defeated. At least Absol does something smart here. I was getting a bit concerned about Serena's mental state. I still have most of my team, however, so let's finish this battle and rival once and for all. With the final speed bump on the road to the Elite Four out of the way, it's time to start the beginning of the end. Let's begin with Drasna. She's not who I wanted to start with, but it's the first chamber I walked into, and I'm not about to turn my back to her. Dragalge has some pretty ridiculous special defense, meaning I need to use physical attacks. None of my Mons can learn Earthquake, but Dig by Mad Monk is the next best thing. He even survives a Surf too. He yawns Altaria before swapping into Sad Monk. Now it's his turn to hold up some imaginary pants with the Expert Belt, Ice Beaming Altaria in one shot. The same happens to Noivern, who does get a Super Fang first. Now I thought Druddigan would knock out Sad Monk here. Instead, he survives a Dragon Tail, bringing out Raichu. He doesn't have any great moves, so let's just go for a Paralysis and get knocked away again. Happy Monk's Crunch is barely too weak, and he also gets knocked away. This is getting old. Thankfully, Butterfree Quiver Dances and Sleep Powders. She misses the first Hurricane, hits the second, avoids that pesky tail, and finally defeats the most annoying of dragons. While not truly difficult, that was still frustrating. Let's head to the correct room this time, Malva and her fire types. I begin with Raichu to break the fire normal Mon. It takes a couple of hits to win. Torkoal may be slow, but not slow enough for Electro Ball to one-shot. That's fine, I just needed to get past Pyroar, because now Sad Monk, still with an Expert Belt, surfs Torkoal. The Fire Pidgeot's Brave Bird is decently strong, but not as strong as another Surf. Chandelure similarly falls in one hit, and that's the end of that. Way faster than the Dragon Lady. I'm also expecting Cybold to be easy, maybe even more so. Morkanto again leads the charge, and now he has the belt. Clawitzer still survives a Thunderbolt, heals, and then dies properly. The non-Mega Gyarados clearly stands no chance. Barbaracle is 4 times weak to grass, falling to a nut. Not even Starmie, as great as it is, can withstand Morkanto's wrath. Wow, that was easy, Cybold. I only needed a single electric rat. This brings us to the final Elite Four member, Sir Wickstrom. His Klefki is immediately flamethrowered by Mad Monk, who got his belt back. He runs away from Probopass's Power Gem, letting Sand Monkey surf the giant nose a few times. Sturdy would have prevented a Dig from one-shotting after all. Aegislash tanks a Surf, changing forms to Shadow Claw, which is fine, as it gives Mad Monk a chance to come back out to flamethrower the sword and shield, as well as the Steel Bug next. That concludes, with very little issues, our Elite Four Gauntlet. I did have a few saved up rare candies that I choose to not use here, because thanks to Experience Share, all of my Pokemon are decently leveled. So, let's just start the Diantha Championship battle. Butterfree hasn't done a ton these past battles, so I give her a chance to shine with Sleep Powder. It's an incredible move with Compound Eyes that I don't think I've used much this run, so let's fix that. Howlucha falls asleep, getting immediately Hurricaned. I considered doing a Quiver Dance sweep, but that would not be so exciting. Tyrantrum is also put to sleep, almost immediately wakes up, and hits a quad effective Head Smash. Well, there goes my Butterfree. And the T-Rex too. I decide to send out Sad Monk next to bait out her Aurorus. It knows Thunder, but thanks to Brick Break, never gets a chance to try it. For Gourgeist, I swap to Fire Pidge expecting a Seed Bomb, but I am ghosted instead. This wouldn't be an issue if Acrobatics had one shot like expected. What's the point of having no items if it's still not strong enough? Fire Pidge survives that Phantom Force, barely, as the Pumpkin dies, again, to a burn. He's not going to get past Goodra, but can still deal a decent chunk. And avoid a muddy water, apparently. So he does get past Goodra. Goodra job. Mega Gardevoir is not gonna happen though. He does outspeed to Flare Blitz, which was just too weak, knocking himself out. That's fine. Time for Happy Monk to finally show his face again. What do you think he's gonna do? Leech Seed, of course. He also knows Seed Bomb, a physical attacking move, because Meta Gardevoir's defense is much lower than her special. He survives a Moonblast, and Gardevoir the 2-seed combo. Just barely. For several turns, Happy Monk does just enough, getting Gardevoir into the red, prompting heal after heal after heal. It's clearly not going to work for her, but she refuses to give up. Eventually, she runs out of heals and the Mega falls, making me and my Forest Mons the brand new champions of the Kalos region. And, in case you didn't realize, I beat this entire game without a single blackout. We didn't even get close to one, to be honest, which is the only forest run in the series I've been able to do that. Now, I would like to say it's because I'm so freaking awesome, so I will. I rock. To a much lesser extent, the auto experience share was quite useful, and these games are known for being very easy. But that doesn't take away from my accomplishments. Next up in the forest series is the lush jungle in Alola. Jungles and forests aren't quite the same thing, but it's close enough. As always, thank you for watching. A special thanks to my Patreon and YouTube members, and I hope to see all of you in the next region.